Good morning. Well, stopped going down exactly where it was supposed to. Didn't reach the 50. I guess that's a good thing for now. Now it's gapping up right around here, and it's inching up, and it's got a void above. Now created a significant support. That it's retested this level. Just looking at this gap up where the weekly chart is, in the middle of the weekly chart. And this thing better get its butt in gear to turn that red bar into a bottoming tail bar by tomorrow. I mean, we'll see what's happening with this debt thing. We're kind of, again, held captive to a certain degree by this news and reactions to it. But, looking to the left, paid off. Well, not that it lifted much yesterday, but it stabilized there. That's the whole idea. As it comes down to where it stabilized before, buyers should show up again, and they did. And now, this gap up, of course, the question is, what does it do from here? So it's certainly got room to go up. And I'm just looking at this, a little above that level. It's got the void above. The way it came down. So anytime I see something come down like this, we go to our factory work. What does it tell us to think? So when prices come down at an angle like that, there's, as far as this is in an uptrend, and as far as, making a turn, a reliable turn, typically you get a retest because the momentum was so strong. And a lot of times maybe it makes a lower low, which would be a desirable daily pattern based on this depth of retracement. That would be coming down a lot. So, explaining this part and this part, it's a little out of sync because of the size of this gap up. But coming down again and retesting this area and then trying to make a turn, with a bias that this is in an uptrend, that it could go higher. We'll see. Things are not lined up perfectly like we would like them to, but as I'm looking at this information right here, this came down pretty darn hard too. But here you see this is what I'm talking about. You look over here back then where it started the way down and you had the retracement and made the lower low into that support, and then the momentum begins to stall. That would be your typical pattern after an initial hard move down like that. It was an initial hard move down. So now, getting the gap up that there is, could it do this? Hold a gap up. So that's a thought, trying to, as we look at this each morning, trying to come to some bias as to what the possibilities are. So, again, coming up here, this didn't come down as hard as that. It's more messy. It's just what we've been dealing with for so long, this mess. So we'll see if it holds the gap up. So far this isn't an uptrend. We'll look at the futures, and so you don't want to fade that. And it does have room to go up, and we'll get a better view of that with the futures. So let's do that. And again, the angle that this came down at, vertical, pretty much stopped, at that level, give or take. This did hit the 50 MA, and a lot of times they do push through that little bit of support, greater than 100% retracement concept, and held that pivot right there and right on the 50. And sometimes the 50 doesn't line up, with where it is on the futures, and it doesn't always going to be on the same place as the spiders or SPX, just because of the 24-hour data. Anyway, so I get a little bit of a different perspective looking at this here. It's like pivot highs right there to the left. So resistance does have a void above. Let's see what it does there. Anytime prices come up to resistance, you expect to stall in the momentum. And so what does it do? Going to do something like this kind of choppy price action at this pivot high. So same kind of price action, and that would support, hey, let's keep going higher. We'll see. You can see here the momentum is stalling. Distance between these pivots right here on the 5-minute. We'll just have to see how this reacts here. Some sideways price action for 15 minutes, dip down and coming up with support or bias that'll go higher. And so keep an eye on financials. They could give us some guide. We'll look at the NQs with Nvidia up here, and I kind of threw out the idea. They're always at some point rotating stocks in the Dow. What keeps the Dow going up forever and ever? Well, what about let's pull out Intel and put Nvidia in there? And then Nvidia, is through the roof here, but that is the premier semiconductor with some AI rolled into it and all of that. That would help propel the Dow. I don't know if that'll happen, but just throwing out the thought. So, all right, so we got to see what this is going to do there. It's already stalled in this area. So SPX. So right at the top there, that bar, SPY. It's going to kind of see where that is at. Right at the bottom of that red bar, SPX. Right here, I've got my little line kind of marked off where I was eyeballed where this is, right at this little resistance area, and that gap down. So last I looked, the levels were 40.80 and 42.50. It's kind of even. Which way is it going to go? And honestly, I'm not sure, because it could hit either one of these. So it's not the no-brainers that we had a month or two ago. That's for sure. And it's just been the average range day to day now for about 40 points. I would watch this first thing in the morning and see if it continues that bullish price action. Looking at the futures, that it's stalled. If it goes through that premium below is going to begin to evaporate. So they don't give you much time because it moves so fast. But any whip in the other direction it's going to increase pretty fast as well. Maybe. Well, I think the downside probably is a better bet, since it's got to come through yesterday's low and all of this, and the 50 MA, and without any news, it's probably not going to go much further than that, since it's already come down multiple days in a row. If it holds here and gets through that support level we looked at, or the resistance level, it would be pretty far to go that far today. So, I think pick your choice, maybe a condor, but again, they're both pretty relatively close to where prices are. So it's not the most comfortable or no-brainer situation. There's no doubt of that. NQ's up against that prior resistance. So that's stalled right there. It's marching up. Momentum's beginning to stall. Looking at the QQQ. Cap up. Gapping right up to the top there. So got to think, what would you do in a situation like that? If you were long here, I think you'd be selling some. And we'll see what kind of selling does come in here in the first 5 minutes or so. Breath, it still continues to be terrible. Right? It would come down, as you would suspect, but this misalignment of sentiment and breath, you just don't see it that much of a difference for such a long period of time. So adding to some of the uncertainty with the news, I think we're going to need to see at the end of the week. And it's just so difficult to make a decision for more than a few hours or a day. I'm talking personally for me anyway, because how erratic things are, and you see what happened with things that were looking pretty nice at the beginning of the week falling apart in the last few days. Now that they're at some support, we'll see how much they can hold on to the gain today. Look at the transports. The airlines began falling apart yesterday, all of them, but still, one of the head and shoulders tops not breaking through support. So just overlapping bars, just more uncertainty and erratic price action. Until it ends, we just have to deal with it. Russell doing nothing. Of course, biotechs came in, and the regional banks came in as expected. I pointed out earlier in the week, they're coming up to this declining 50 MA and resistance. There's going to be sellers there. So it certainly should have been no surprise that these were going to give it up. And with that being the case, biotech was a little extended. Odds were the Russell was going to come in. And I see a bunch of retailers in the news weren't looking too good. I didn't look at the charts yet, but I see some negative stuff going on there. And so this is moving down. This has been a short in the ETF letter. And it's going in the right direction. I guess SMHs are going to gap higher. Where's that cursor? 138. Wow, it's way up there. That's certainly bullish. Look to the left. There's a pivot up there at 140. You always got to look to the left and see where that next level is. And this one, different stocks in this semiconductor one, you can see the underperformance here in this one, gapping up into resistance. All right. Bitcoin still holding its ground there, doing nothing. Oil down a little bit here this morning off of the 50 MA. Still got a retest down pattern here. It hasn't been able to get off the bottom. Gold moving down, right? Breaking below this pivot, and the power move down. I suspect that should continue to move down. This isn't an uptrend, but it's got what we call a rounding top, and those topping tails up there. And where's my dollar? Continue to move up. All right, so should keep the pressure on gold miners, on silver coming in here, and copper, industrial metal been collapsing. A little bit more of a support for that recession that's coming, and the Fed raising interest rates a little bit more to push us over the cliff. 10-year continuing to move up. So it's kind of more of the same, a little bit more positive price action there. Limited stocks moving up, breath terrible. And we'll see where this goes. Probably gonna, when we got holiday. And one of the, as I'm talking, a lot of the things that come to mind is that typically around holiday, you tend to have bullish price action. So, maybe tomorrow, maybe today stays up and tomorrow will be an up day and, we'll see where we end of the week. But with the holiday there, maybe buyers continue to step up here and push things higher. We'll see. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Crazy gap up on the video. So that's looks like party time for the NASDAQ, the semis. I saw some, yeah, I know. I saw Intel down, and that's why Greg entitled the thing today. But when you get a monster gap, my bias, I mean, if you're long, you're celebrating. I'd be selling right now. Just hit the bid and go to the beach. But my bias is it's extended all time frames. It's not a novice gap because it's bullish as can be, but it's short term, crazy big. So 30-minute low, my bias is to sell a 1 DTE call spread. I have zero interest in trading it long myself, zero. SMH is here also. Look at that. This is 134, gapping $4 over that. So same, very bullish, short-term excessive. My bias would be 30-minute low. Yeah, let's start with a couple earnings here. All right, so that's what everyone's talking about. When I saw some clown on, I mean, I don't mean that in disrespect, but some analyst at Morgan is upgrading Nvidia now. I just think you got rocks in your head. I mean, this thing rallied from $120 to $395. Now you want to upgrade it? I would have more respect for him saying sell the open and stay tuned. I'll find you a better price to get back in. So talking about Morgan, this is our short watch list. Alex mentioned yesterday. I got an alert at 81 here. Ideally this thing will just open flat and go sideways until 10 a.m. and then trade under this little pre-market low, and we will be shorting you, Mr. Morgan. Snow earnings getting whacked here. Now I'm going to put this in my excessive gap list. It's the kind of the opposite of Nvidia. If it can take out a 30-minute high, then I'm interested in a 1 DTE put spread. Splunk 104, gap's too big, no interest. But look what my eye just caught right here. It's not a core trade to me, but it's a retest. But I just think the daily's gonna take too long to set up for a pattern that interests me. PAP 1475, gapping right to the middle of the range. ELF. Do you all remember in the green room when I was watching this as a short? Daily, weekly, monthly were climactic. Look at that. I stopped watching it. That seems to happen so much when you stop watching something. That was probably the day that it started turning lower. But now it's another bullish gap. Incredible what this company is doing. ENS, no pattern, overlapping bars. I'm just going to delete you. NTNX, big gap at the resistance. There's nothing to do with that. Yeah, Greg mentioned retail. So yeah, we're short like 4 or 5 things, and I don't have a single alarm going off on our shorts. So our ability to pick shorts, even with a strong market, is very good. So the AEO getting whacked. Ramp, I don't see a pattern yet. APPS, man, $14 down to 9. That, wow, that looks like the pain of the day. Step, no pattern, no overlapping bars. Zero up a little bit, $9. I don't know, you might be able to get a day trade if it sets up. Yesterday, MT Live, we are talking about trading the open. So when I say set up, put it in a 5-minute window and watch it the first 30 minutes. See if it sets up. Mod, no prints, will come back. Guess. All right, so this one's gapping up a tad, and it's a nasty reversal bar yesterday. So this one, I'm going to set an alarm at 17:30, because then if it gives up the bullish gap today, the all time frames say lower. VNet, $2 stock, no interest. This is the hamburger stand we were talking about, Red Robin. It's a big gap. You know, I don't care about the percentage per se. I care about where gap's too big. I just had a Juniper alarm go off. This was a double bottom, little buy setup. So let's keep an eye on that as a bottoming pattern. RY, this would be what we would call a potential gap and snap, where you get a climactic buy setup, and then it gaps down a lot, snaps right back, but it looks like it's only down a little bit, and so there's zero reversal yet. MDT, 1, 2, 3, big gap though to the 50. TD, okay, this one we said yesterday, this will be a good 30-minute low. It gapped down and is filling the gap right now. So if it goes sideways like Morgan, takes out a 30-minute low, this has room to fall. PVH 87, yeah. The only, so yeah, we talked about gaps yesterday in MT Live. So Greg, the only thing that I would like better is it doesn't meet the void of your 7-step process. But yeah, it's a gap just over this little pivot. It's a bullish weekly, but 30-minute high, you know, the gap suggests that they'll go through this.
It wouldn't be the best for a day trading gap. I see this pattern as more of a swing type of gap, you know, that could work over a few days, but it has earnings next week. So it's something else to consider. But, you know, 30 on the 31st.
All right, Charlie, Mike, the gap breakdown. This is one I said, if it opens flat, we can short yesterday's lows. I'm going to set an alarm here at 40.90. Actually, my minder shows it up. Oh, it shows a print up here at 42. But I don't trust pre-market prints unless they're liquid. So let's just put an alarm if it comes back down here. Take a look at it. A Dollar Tree, another retailer getting whacked. Wow, I didn't notice how big that was. Man, I said yesterday, look at Target is in trouble. Look at that 180 breakdown. This is a great example of all these converging moving averages. It's a breakdown weekly, monthly. I said in the green room, this thing can come to 110 on the monthly. So I'm going to put this in a window as a potential excessive gap. BBY, junk. Burl, 177. You know, could be the start of a turn. I'll come back to you. Ralph Lauren, 114, same gap in the resistance though, but they could, I don't know, it's too messy. We'll come back. WB, I'm deleting you. Elaine, deleting you. Like a 41 volume, shouldn't even be on my list. GDS up a little bit. Could be the start of a small little double bottom for a bounce and a downtrend. No volume. No volume. That was a nasty breakdown. Let's see if we can get a 1, 2, 3 for tomorrow. It's a small little flag. I don't see any prints. We'll come back. THR bottoming patterns. Look at the volume of the earnings. Somebody got bullish there. Ship, no pattern. DOW, gapping down. Nothing there. MOV, potential bottoming pattern, but it needs to take out yesterday's high. Rex, no pattern. GCO, nasty gap, $24. That's ugly. Look at this. You know, we were talking about, remember we said in the show yesterday, not all gaps get filled. Look at that. That was a pro bearish gap right there. Two topping tails, unable to retrace very much. That is one ugly downtrend. Heps here. Now see, hypothetically, if this were gapping like $1.10, then I would say would be a nice 30-minute high with a target of 130 to 140, but it's up too much now. This is his Carl Icahn stock. Remember when the short seller Hindenburg started attacking him here? Now it's down another 10%. Man, something very bad is going on there. This was a little bottoming pattern. Gapping down. I'm going to set an alarm at 233 just to see if it can negate it. Morgan, I mentioned DOW. DOW 90. It's too extended. Oh, this Hassie's on my short watch list. Little breakout failure, closing breakdown. So Hassie looks great. Look, Nvidia, there's already, look, it's already down $5 from what pre-market when I said sell at pre-market. All right, our relative weakness shorts that we're in. AAP alarm. We are short this. I mean, that's such a good feeling when the markets are up huge and your shorts are gapping down. I'm just going to set an alarm over this 15-minute or move it. So let's move it over 116. AAP. I'll be looking to cover a third into weakness. Hey, Robert. Right, this has earnings next week. Starbucks, low. Nothing's been hammered. Why do I have a low alarm? Oh, I think I have a low alarm, you all. Looking for lower prices, actually. You know, we're up a couple bucks on AAP. Let's go ahead and cover a third. There's some weakness here. Yeah, my alarm didn't go off, my new alarm. Yeah, there's MS at 81 bucks. Alarm just went off. XRT low alarm. We're short. Look at snow, middle chart. All right, I'm gonna wait 30 minutes on Morgan, but I like it. Look at snow. I told you, excessive gap, see? It's 9:32, but buyers are scooping it up here at these prices. I told you this will be a great one BTE put spread. Market's coming in hard though. Well, you know, you heard my bias when you gap up stupidly high. I got a short bias. What can you say? All right, there is good juice on snow, but it's crazy spreads right now, very crazy. Look, SMH's 30-minute, it's a bullish gap. But 30-minute low, Nvidia, see, profit taking. Let's check this one for a call spread. I just prefer when you fade these things to do 30-minute. Man, Greg, the 450s are $1.21 for tomorrow. That's crazy high. $10 wide. We'll say $10 wide's only 35 cents, but you can do them naked for $1.20. But then, you know, I don't know what the loss is going to be if it stops out. All right, XRT. Look at G. Our shorts are doing fantastic. Look at GNK. We're short.